To be honest, I'm not as freaked out about this as I should be. After all, I'm used to staying indoors at this point. I'm pretty sure I'm safe. But boy, I wasn't expecting to walk into a mess like this. Lately, I've been feeling really down on life. I'm sure I'm not alone in this regard. Between COVID, climate change, and the next world war right on the horizon, many people's perspective on reality is at an all-time low. One of my favorite means of escape lately has been binge-watching paranormal stuff on YouTube. If you don't know, researching the paranormal on the internet is beyond the rabbit hole territory. Think gigantic underground prairie dog city. As much as I kept telling myself to approach things with skepticism and rational scientific thought, the idea of other forces out there engaged in a battle for humanity really seems to take the edge of the mundane existential crisis we're all living in. For some reason, however, I've been feeling the urge to fight back. A part of me really wants to help save the world, which again, I'm sure is a feeling many of us have. I've been starting small, donating to a few charities here and there, taking the bus more, eating less meat, the usual. But my fantasy is to do something big that motivates people to try to make the world a better place. Yeah, sure. Just on a whim, however, I decided to do something funny on AskReddit. I'd been getting into contactees, people who claim to be in direct contact with extraterrestrial beings. I normally consider these guys scam artists who use their imaginations to rake in money from gullible people. However, I'm willing to admit some of the narratives actually get to me, especially when they start talking about relatable themes like world peace, loving each other, and not trusting authority. I decided, well heck, if they can talk to aliens, why can't I? I pose a question something along the lines of, ETs of Reddit, what can we do to turn this shit around? Most of the comments were about what I expected. I think the funniest comment was something like, you are shitting out the correct end, do not turn it around. Bless you, kind comedian. Yes, most of the comments were joke comments and some Star Trek references. The thread itself was nothing special, although it did garner over 40 responses and something like 9,000 views. It didn't make the top of the voting charts, however, and it eventually got taken down, which is related to where the weirdness begins. You see, there were some comments that were popping up and then quickly being deleted. I got notifications of them appearing, but then they would disappear. This isn't all that unusual. Sometimes people change their minds about things. Other times, the moderators delete an especially unpopular comment. But I noticed a pattern with the comments that were disappearing. They were all serious, canny responses. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take screenshots. But I have a pretty good memory, and I was able to copy and paste a few of them too. The usernames were random numbers and letters. Here was one of the first. Your obsession with apocalypses is kind of unusual. The downfall of your species is just as likely to be painfully slow as it is to be sudden and violent. You need to work hard on improving yourself and your relationship with the planet, regardless of whether or not the end comes quickly or slowly. Either way, you'll never get to experience traveling the stars. And believe me, traveling the stars is worth it. I was actually pretty flattered to get a nice response like this. I thought, hey, someone is really getting into the alien roleplay. They even made a weird username just to throw me off. And the comment actually made me go, you have a point there. Here is another one that I liked. Have a stronger baseline for what normal is. Peaceful, happy relationships between men, women, children, and the elderly are normal. Lands full of insects, birds, and other animals are normal. Oceans full of fish and not plastic are normal. Really try to see your current human condition as abnormal. As in, there does exist a normal. And this is not it. Good old liberal Redditor. But again, this was something I agree with. It also had a weird username with other posts attached to it, so I was thinking maybe it was the same guy or girl. At least, at first I did. Then, I saw one like this. Stop asking us for help. My species is not interested in helping you. We have our own problems to deal with. There are some benevolent extraterrestrials that are interested in helping you, but for various complicated reasons, they are not really allowed to. One bit of advice: not all alien civilizations you encounter will be friendly. Be self-reliant, or some civilizations will prey on you and take advantage of your cowardice. You do not want to be slaves to any kind of so-called saviors. That came out of left field, and it was the first one that I decided to try to screenshot and send to a friend of mine to check out. For some reason, the file wouldn't send. I tried uploading it on Imager, and that didn't work either. I sent the actual thread to her, which, bless her heart, she thought it was funny, and while she was able to see all the regular joke comments, the serious one didn't show up for her. She didn't say it, but I think she probably thinks I'm a little crazy now. She's probably not wrong, to be honest. There were strange usernames responding to each other too. What was really funny was that some of them were very human-like and followed a human sense of humor. To be honest, a lot of what your species is going through is normal, in the sense that it is part of your growth phase. I think it would help to have a goal for what you want your world to be like in the future, and slowly build up long-term solution towards achieving that vision. Do you want to see all your people fed? Do you want to transition away from money-based economies? Do you want free energy for all? It's really up to you to decide what you want your world to be like. This was followed by found a communist, and then the first odd username. Living in a post-scarcity world doesn't make me a communist. And finally, no, but it does make you a hippie. Okay, I definitely thought someone was fucking with me. But again, my attempts to screenshot the conversations failed. At best, I was able to copy and paste some of them before they got deleted. There was one conversation which really hurt me, especially as a former gifted kid with a gaming addiction. Most of your advanced nations are vastly overstimulated. Your minds are overworked and undernourished. Take more time to relax and get away from digital screens. Read more books, spend more time talking with family. Bosses and CEOs, take better care of your employees. Meditate and exercise more. Eat healthier. The default emotional state should be calm and readiness, not anxiety or depression. Then, every addicted video gamer is a hero who has given up on saving the real world and would rather save a fake one. Oof. And then, Sims players and people who kill children in Skyrim using mods might disagree. The one from before replied, it's also a valid response to burn a fake world because you feel helpless in the real one. And the biggest gut punch of all was, humans are addicted to video games because they follow an ideal educational model. They challenge you with exactly what you can handle and do not allow you to progress until you can meet their challenge. They are fully customized and efficient. Humans spend more time perfecting colorful dopamine generators for profit than their high schools and universities. And that's pretty sad. I've scheduled an appointment with a therapist for next week. At one point, the responses were coming in so quickly I couldn't save them all. All of them were from unique usernames which looked randomized. There was no way a single person was doing this. I started to think I was losing my mind. Some of them were kinda short. Love yourself and each other. It really shouldn't be that complicated. Religions should be based on compassion and evidence. Also yes, there is an afterlife. Not gonna tell you how that works. You have other things to worry about, lol. And there were more elaborate conversation with stuff I hadn't even thought about or heard of. This might be asking for a lot, but try removing all the lead in your pipes. Really try removing all the plastics in your life system. Get rid of parasites like toxoplasmosis. And from now on, design cities compassionately with human behavior in mind. have realistic expectations of birth control and population growth in decline. All these things are taxing human psyches across the world, both physically and psychologically. Basically, you're all slowly becoming insane. You're poisoning your minds, and it needs to stop. Their immune systems evolved to coexist with parasites. I'm not sure getting rid of toxoplasmosis is worth it. There are worse things than being slightly crazier and being nicer to cats. Oh shit, you're right. But an immune response in the brain cannot possibly be good for half the human population. I'd probably take increased sanity levels over not being able to eat strawberries. Maybe they should make gene sequencing tech more affordable so everyone can see what autoimmune responses they are susceptible to, and find or engineer a relatively harmless parasite as a treatment for some allergies. Knowing humans, this would be how the zombie apocalypse happens. Hey, at least that would solve their overpopulation problem. And like I said, some of them were surprisingly funny. Easy, have the good half eat the evil half. Found a reptilian. Oh, go shave your pubic hairs. Go eat a live baby bird. I think this was one of the saddest ones. My people were friends with some of the indigenous people in the North American continent. They are mostly extinct now. We're actually bitter about that, and we're not really sure we've forgiven the rest of your kind for what happened. I know it's not your fault, but there is a karmic imbalance that is difficult for us to resolve. Honestly, if you want to improve yourselves, study your history and face the harsh realities you find with courage and understanding. Yes, I accept the downvotes. Not that there were any downvotes, because the message, like all the others, was quickly deleted. There were so many different ideas and perspectives, I was really becoming convinced they couldn't all be coming from the same person. Some of them had contradictory advice. A lot of responses were suggesting we make a beeline for FTL travel. But then, there was this. What I am about to say might be downvoted by a lot of posters here, but here it goes. You don't need to travel the stars. You don't need to be tech-centered. You don't need so much technology. Master living in your home world. The universe will always be there waiting for you. There is no rush. If I had to pick something techy to focus on, maybe harden yourselves against natural disasters, or find ways to dodge them. Once again, never got to be downvoted. I didn't sleep much the night I posted this, because I was trying to compile as many responses as possible before they got deleted. There were expected responses, like how ridiculous money and homelessness are. Yeah, sure, 90% of Redditors would agree with those. But I also got some weird ones about how we're doing childbirth wrong, how AI is a good thing, how some alien civilizations are actually very religious, overpopulation is a myth, etc. Lots of answers I wouldn't have expected from the average Redditor. I think it was at this point that I started to become really nervous. Right before the thread was deleted by the moderators, I got this last one, which made me feel a bit better. Advanced alien races are not perfect either. We have various problems of our own. Many of us were like you once. There are many different pieces of advice we can give, and I think most of them are valid. My personal one? Never give up. Believe in yourselves and the ability to shape the world in a positive way. That is what I offer. Words of encouragement from an outside source. You can do it. I thought, oh, that's sweet. I was even going to make a desperate attempt to contact him and thank them, when I was interrupted by a message in my inbox. I go to click on it, hoping to receive confirmation that this was some sort of prank. Unfortunately, that's not what I got. Instead, what I got was this. We can protect you as long as you don't let them in the front door. Don't worry, your life will be back to normal in 3 days. If you do need to leave the house, avoid the white vans. You'll know them when you see them. Never do this again. It was about this time when the threat was taken down. And when I started getting knocks on my front door. Okay, so maybe I'm a little more freaked out than I thought I was. Every once in a while, I work up the courage to check the peephole. They're really tall, have pale skin, and are dressed head to toe in black. Even though it's cloudy outside, they always have sunglasses.